Hello everybody, welcome to Dr. Slump on the PS1. This is, in my opinion, one of the best 3D platformers of the generation. It's got nice, bright, vivid colors, it's got pretty solid gameplay, and it's honestly really funny. So without further ado, let's start. So, I didn't know the story of Dr. Slump before the game. This goes through... Yeah, oh sorry. Yeah. But this goes through the story of how Arale started, how she was created by Dr. Norimaki here, and she's basically a robot that he created. I don't remember if he created it to be any specific task. He seems to have created it to just be sort of a kid and fun robot, but instead it becomes the strongest robot in the world. Makes it kind of oddly, makes his nemesis create a robot to try and beat it, and it's just weird. That's the best way I can describe Arale's story. So we start off here in the house. We're going through tutorials right now. First we move on to the bedroom. Now it's going to make me check everything in here, so I've got to check the stereo and check the settings. And I've got to exit all these menus. Tells me how to save, tells me how to do everything here. Look away. Gotta check the coat rack and I believe the painting, then I can leave the room. And we'll move on to the doctor's laboratory, which is down in the basement. And one point that they make is that the doctor seems old, but he's only in his late 20s, I believe. I believe he's 28 when this is all starting, at least. Which is really funny, because he looks like he's 40-something. But yeah, he's just guiding us around the house, how to figure out what we're doing. So walk over here, and he'll tell us how to use the signpost, which is how we're going to change areas. Talk to the signpost, and he'll say he wants to show us something. And this is how we get our first movement ability, which is to jump. Because one way that he built Arale is that when she sees something one time, she can learn how to do it. So she learns how to jump from watching him jump right there. And here he's just explaining it's called the capture circuit, and then he talks to himself saying, I didn't even remember building that. So we're gonna go over here and go play. It's gonna move us on to the coffee pot map, which is where we meet some of the neighborhood kids, and they're gonna teach us a new ability as well. One of them drops an earring, and she crawls around looking for it, so we learn how to crouch down and look on the ground. So anytime there's something sparkling, like you see in the background over here, which this is gonna be the earring over here that we need to grab, we just crouch down and we can pick it up. And Arale gets all excited because she's just a kid, even though she's a robot. She's got the intelligence of a kid. She's got the mannerisms of a kid. But now that we've gotten that, we can go back to Dr. Norimaki's house and go talk to him. And he'll tell us that we can go over to the coffee pot again. And that's now going to be named on the sign. And he's telling us about the pep gauge. We're not really going to care about the pep gauge here because it just unlocks bonus content. But if we ever fill up the pep gauge, we can go talk to Dr. Norimaki down in his lab. If he's down there, there's some points in the story where he's not. We can go down there and he'll unlock special abilities for us. But for now, we're just going to go inside the coffee pot and go talk to Akane. She was the girl who lost her earring earlier. And right here is one of the very few times you'll actually see an Akira Toriyama direct insert in any of these. And the characters say they don't understand what it is. Because he is just a little robot guy. Now we talk to Akane, and she tells us where to go talk to the other two boys that were there when we first met them. So now we head back over to the sign. This happens a lot, by the way. This is how we go in between every single map in the game. I had to create a whole map of this when I first did this in order to figure out what places go where. But now we can go in the barber shop. And Taro's in here getting ragged on by his dad. And his dad hits him because he's, you know, being a teenager. So, Arale now learns how to throw a punch. And this does unlock some things in here. Their dad really likes Arale for some reason. So, if we jump over here, this isn't necessary, but you can see he talks, and then throw a punch. Taro tells you to be careful. I didn't even know that one for the Here for a Snip was there. There's just so many little details in this game that it's impressive, to be honest. But yeah, we punch the mirror, he tells us to be careful, and his dad just tells him to be quiet because he's upset with him. So now we can go home. And we gotta go head down to the lab to see the doctor and tell him we want to go to school. It's, you know, the other kids are in school. We're a kid, we want to be hanging out with them, so Aurelia decides she wants to go to school. So now the doctor's gonna take us over to the school. And here is just a long cutscene where we're driving along. And Arale and Dr. Norimaki are just talking in the car while we travel between the two areas we've seen already. Now this is probably, in my opinion, one of Akira Toriyama's greatest works just because it's such a funny bit of media. Dr. Slump in general. You know, he's created this little robot girl who is like an omnipotent power in the world. And this weirdo older doctor, and that's a point that they get across a lot in the very beginning of the game, is that everyone sees him as kind of weird and aloof, but he is very much a genius. I mean, he created an all-powerful robot, and we do actually have some of his other inventions later on. But now that we got here, we can leave, and we end up in the office for some reason, and we just gotta leave. Punch button and interact button are the same, so a lot of times you'll see me try and interact with something and I'll just punch. And here, coming up, we're gonna talk to Akane, and she's gonna rag on us for being slow, and so she's gonna teach us how to run. This is one of the biggest movement techs in the entire game, because now instead of just walking everywhere, we actually have a way of going fast. And there's no limitation on where we can use this, unlike some games. Looking at you, Pokemon. Instead, we can run anywhere we want because, I mean, she's a kid. She doesn't have any sense of right and wrong place to use things. And I like to just jump through this because you have to wait for Akane to finish the race anyway. So I like to just try doing frame perfect jumps the entire way across. For some reason, the school map is very laggy compared to every other map. And I don't understand why, because it's just mostly big open area. But after we learn how to run from Akane, we can just go home. And the doctor will have us show him everything that we've learned so far. So we gotta jump. We gotta crouch. We gotta run. And we gotta punch. And he says, make sure not to hit him with that. I'm not trying to do that again. Every time you do something... What else did I learn? Oh, it didn't register... He responded to the jump, but it made me do it again. So this is where we go if we had that pep gauge. This is where a whole bunch of settings would be. It's his invention machine. But then it also gives us settings for like rebinding keys and stuff. We don't need to do that because we just have the keys used anyway. So now we can just head outside. And we're gonna head over to the coffee pot. Now the very first thing we want to do over here, even though Kana is standing outside, we want to go inside and look at the newspaper. And it'll tell us that Taro is having trouble on the baseball team. So now we can go outside and talk to Akane. And she'll say how he's a weakling. And Arale, just being the little kid that she is, she decides she's going to go tell Taro that Akane said she was a weakling. So Taro's over here at the school. We run up to him. Hey, Akane said you're a weakling. And now that we said that, we go tell Akane that we told him that. He's gonna be upset about it. Because obviously, telling someone that you said something bad about them, they're gonna be upset at you. So she wants us to go watch Taro. On our way, the cops say that we're speeding as we run down the road. So Arale decides she's gonna run into the cop car. This is one of the scenes that demonstrates she's an all-powerful robot, because she just destroys the cop car by running into it. So now Akane tells us to go talk to Taro and Pisuke to meet them at the school, but we don't have to go talk to Taro because he's already at the school, so we're gonna go to the barber shop and talk to Pisuke. And when Pisuke hears that Akane wants to tell them about something, Pisuke feels that it's gonna be not good. So let's head over to the school. And these two are already over here. So we talk to them. And they're talking about how we destroyed a police car. Taro says he's gonna give us the key. And now this key, if I had explored earlier, we know that in the principal's office, there's a locked cabinet. We're gonna go into the cabinet. He's gonna be surprised that we have the key. And we're gonna get a naughty book that was confiscated. Now we're gonna head back out to the schoolyard. If we talk to Taro about it, Taro says he's the one that got it confiscated by the teacher. He'll try and get it back from us. But if we give it back to him, it just ends up back in the cabinet again. What instead we want to do is we want to go home and go down into the lab, because Dr. Norimaki should be interested in this. And we go to leave, and he noticed that we have the book. And he says we shouldn't have the book, so we hand it over, and we hand over the key as well. And of course Arale is going to tease him about having the book that we shouldn't have, so we're going to go back outside and head back to the school, because that's where our friends still are. And we find out that Pisuke has gone missing. So if we run behind the school, we find Pisuke, and he tells us not to tell Terose that he's here, because he doesn't want his big brother to know he's hiding back here. Of course, we're gonna go tell him that he's back there. But by the time all three of us get back behind there, he's already gone again. And so they've looked around again. He's nowhere on the school grounds. So what we need to do is go in here into the classroom. And we want to talk to the teacher. And she'll tell us that he's probably in the hills, but there's monsters there, so we're not allowed to go, but she'll quiz us as we leave. Ask us how many desks in the classroom. It's 17. On a lot of these, there's a little bit of extra dialogue if you get it wrong, so I try and get it right. And I did not mean to go into the office. We're supposed to head outside, and we're gonna go back home, because she won't tell us how to get to the hills. We're gonna go ask Dr. Norimaki. Because obviously the professor's gonna know. He's super smart. So we go to the living room to talk to him. We ask how to get to the hills, and he says to go ask the cops. We need to go find the cops now. Now the cops, they don't really like us after we destroyed their cop car, but it's whatever. what we want to do is go over to the barber shop. And the police car's here again, and we just run into it. And do the same exact thing to it again, just destroy it again. And then we talk to the short one, and he tells us that we can get there from the school signpost. We go over to the signpost here to head over to the school. And then go over to the signpost and head for the hills. Now over here we find P-Sky, who wanted to do some training. But he's worried about the monsters since we tell him that there's monsters here. So now we gotta go find the monsters that are around here. And the monsters are just boars. And so we gotta... dang it. Just hit them, and then interact with them, and she'll knock them away. And they're in set spots each time. Unfortunately, at the moment, we don't have a way to attack while we're running, so we gotta slow down to try and hit them, which can prove to be challenging sometimes. There we go, hit that one. You can sometimes hit them as they cross that center platform if you do it right. Or just hit them from behind like that. And now that we've gotten rid of the 3 of them, now we can do P-Sky's special training, talk to him twice, and he's going to teach us how to do a slide kick, which is now going to be our method of attacking while we're moving. And since P-Sky's training, he wants us to train with him. So we just gotta do the slide kick a couple times. And eventually he'll say that we're done. And he's gonna head back to the school. And that's where we need to head, because that's where everyone's at now. So we get here, and it's after the big baseball game that P-Sky's training for. For some reason, it took us forever to get over here. And we won, and they won because P-Sky had practiced the slide kicks. Now everyone's gonna talk about the game, and everyone wants to go home because they're tired after the game. So now our goal is to head back home. And here, Dr. Noramaki's gonna have a new invention for us. He has invented time travel. This is Time Slipper, aka Mr. Time. And we talk to him when we want to do the action missions. So we talk to him, and he's gonna send us back in time to prehistoric times. We're gonna get to see some dinosaurs now. And we get this little pterodactyl that comes down and wants our help because her eggs have been stolen. So the whole goal of this level of the action quest is to get the eggs back. Oh, come on. Yeah, these are sometimes a little tricky to hit. There we go. Now there's an egg up over here. We gotta avoid the giant dragonfly. And now we head over to the other side of the map. There's another one in between these electric jellyfish. There's another one up here with another dragonfly guarding it. I did avoid that one, that's fine. Now we gotta get past rocks here. I found for this section, hugging this wall is the best course of action to avoid all the boulders. If you don't, then you have a risk of getting knocked down. You gotta run all the way back around. There's one egg up here, and then the last two are very close together, right on this center pedestal. Yeah, and it looks like that dinosaur's gonna jump down, but he always stays up here. Ow. Try not to lose all of Raleigh's health because that resets the whole thing, and it's a pain to go back through and do everything again. There we go. Sometimes it feels like Raleigh locks on, but most of the time she doesn't, so it's just whichever input you have. Now this is one of the few skips in the game that's really easy to perform. You hop onto lava. I didn't hop out fast enough, but you just hop out there, hop up here, and that skips a whole bunch of back and forth that you have to do. Come up under here to avoid the rock, and then run back around. And we're at the first boss fight now. This first boss fight is against a T-Rex that was in charge of stealing all the eggs from the pterodactyl. So now we fight it, we just gotta dash into it. Once we hit it, it's gonna jump like Bowser does in Mario 64, so we just run away. And once it lands, we can hit it again. And we just do that 6 times. The first boss, really quite simple. Okay, now the boss is done. He says he's gonna give us this big egg, but that doesn't look very much like an egg. It almost looks like Frieza's spaceship. Again, you can definitely tell that this is a piece of a Toriyama work. And out of this egg, I don't know what technically he is. I call him an angel, just because that's what he looks like. This is Gachan. Or, as Raleigh actually named him, Godzilla. And that's the end of Chapter 1. There's 8 chapters in this game? 7 chapters in this game. This is Dr. Masahito. This is Dr. Noramaki's nemesis, who's trying to build a robot to rival Raleigh. And this is Caramel Man. This is the robot he comes up with to fight Raleigh at first. We find out that it's just kind of good at causing light disruptions to everything. It doesn't really do much damage. So we want to leave the classroom. Then Akane starts telling us about a new movie at the cinema. But Akane's got to stay around and clean. So we're gonna go home. See, now we've got Gachan following us. Because once we hatch him from the egg, we gotta look after him. Because he is only just a little guy. So we want to head to the living room, I believe. Yep. Talk to Dr. Noramaki. And he's gonna tell us to get to the cinema. We go to the police station and ask the police officers there. Now this is going to be different police officers than we just had, though they do sometimes appear at the police station during specific scenes. And Raleigh thinks this is where the cops live. So in here you've got the prison guard, and then you've got the chief of police back here. So he's telling us that we just go to the sign, and we can go to the cinema, but he's also telling us that it's closed because it was recently attacked. So we're gonna go to the cinema now and figure out what happened. So we go talk to the little short officer again, and the tall officer. And Dr. Masahito swapped out all the films with one of his own. So we go to leave the area, and they're getting a radio message saying that the bank is being attacked. Now you got the fat guy over there. That's Suppa Man. We go talk to him, and he tells us the bank is being attacked, and then we ask how to get to the bank. And again, as the description has been every time we've asked how to go somewhere, just use the signpost. So we use the signpost, and we're gonna go to the bank. Now once we're at the bank, we see Dr. Masahito in his Caramel Man, and then we have the longest takeoff scene ever, and that plays multiple times in this chapter. So now we ignore the cops, because they're inconsequential. And here's Suppa Man in here. And the bank was apparently robbed of souvenir tissues. We go talk to the bank teller who wants to get rid of Suppa Man. So now we go talk to Slump and we accuse him of being a bad guy. So he says he's the champion of justice. So now he wants to fight a little girl for insulting him. Because he thinks he can win in any competition against her. Arale just wants him to hurry up and get the competitions ready. And we learn a new attack. He's trying to split some tiles. He's too weak because he may be a superhero, but he's an awful superhero. But when Arale does that move, cracks the planet in two. Appropriately named Earth Splitter. Then he asks some math problems. So we just gotta answer the math problems. 8 and 45. And then he's gonna give us one challenge because he thinks no one's gonna touch the piece of poop. Arale doesn't care. The poop is the collectible in this game, so Arale's gonna collect it. So then he runs away because he doesn't want to deal with that anymore. He's afraid. So we go over and talk to the cops again. And there's apartments under attack. And the police decide, hey, this girl with the glasses, she seems to be a monster. Let's go have her deal with the problem because we can't deal with a giant robot. Arale's excited because she likes robots. So we go to the sign. Apartments. Now this is where our teacher lives, apparently, because he's harassing our teacher. And now the really slow takeoff again. Because apparently he made the robot way too heavy to have any sort of decent takeoff time. So let's go into her apartment, because she invites us in, and talk to her, and she's gonna give me a test after I find what she lost, which was up here in this picture somehow. And it's actually Akane's test score, which was a 0. Because of course it was. So in this pop quiz, she asks us what's on a sign next to the cinema. It's a cat. It's a golden lucky cat. Or at least a lucky cat of some sort. I don't remember if it's golden. But then we have a bath with her. But the professor is jealous that we got to have a bath with Miss Midori, and so he starts drooling and then sends us to bed. And Dr. Masahiro is now trying to come up with more plans to defeat Arale. So now the rest of this chapter is us being challenged by Dr. Masahiro. And so he's at his secret lair, and then he gives us the address to his secret lair because it's on the letter that he sent, because probably not very smart to give away the address of your secret lair, but a lot of the adults in this game seem to not be very smart. But he gives Dr. Norimaki gives us the Pompoko Transformer here. So we're gonna head outside and head towards the school because we have to go through the hills to get to the secret lair. Now Miss Midori's here, and she's curious about what the Pompoko Transformer is, and we turn her into a boar. And then we just sort of leave her, because Arale is a kid and she's just having fun. Head over to the hills, and then we'll head over to the secret lair to confront Dr. Masahiro. And this is one of the funniest scenes in this whole chapter. We come here to confront him. He even says he should have been more careful not to put the address on the letter. But he tries to sick Caramel Man on us, and we transform it. And he tells us to turn it back, so we do. Because, you know, kid will listen to what she's told. And then he tells Caramel Man to take them away, and Caramel Man leaves without him. he probably should have thought that through and got in the robot before he told the robot to run away. So now he's locked in his secret lair, and we don't have a way in currently, so we're gonna go home. Now, once we pass the school, you'll notice that Miss Midori is no longer here. I wonder where she went. Well, we get back to the professor, and he yells at us for turning Miss Midori into a boar. Not boar. And we turn him into a frog. Well, by turning him into a frog, we learn how to high jump. Which is the next useful bit of movement, because it actually gives us a high jump. Means we can reach places we couldn't reach before. We turn him back, because he is our master of some sort anyway. We're still a kid, so we're gonna be mischievous, but he takes the Pompoko Transformer back. And now I believe we head over to the school. And Dr. Mashirito's here, taunting us from on top of the school. And he's taunting us with the key to his secret base, telling us that we can't get to it because we can't jump that high. Little does he know, we just learned how to jump from a frog. So we crouch, and we can jump up here and grab the key. And now he's gonna run away. Caramel Man appears, slowly comes down, and then slowly takes off again. Now we've got the key to the secret lair. Let's go get in there and confront him. So, Hill's secret lair. There's so much to this game that we don't even see with this because we can go to every single area in between each of these. Oh, but look at that, the key doesn't fit. Well, he finished changing all the locks right before we got here. We tell him he's no fun, and he says, well, it's time to change locks anyway. No, you just changed the lock because you gave us the key and didn't think you would. So now, let's go home, because he took all the fun out of this. Since we can't have fun, we just want to go home. And we're gonna go talk to the professor in the living room again. And by the time of leaving his secret lair to getting home, he's issued us another challenge. Now he's going after Miss Midori. So we want to go over through the police station to Midori's apartment. And she's kind of upset with us, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And it's understandable, we turned her into a boar. So police station... apartments? Oh, he's not here. I would have thought he would be here already, because he was hassling her earlier. Well, let's go back home, because he hasn't appeared to have gone there. Oh, no, here he is. He's punching a police car. He's trying to get there before we do, and he realizes it's us, so he's gonna try and punch us. Doesn't do anything. And now we know how to punch really hard. Yeah, he's surprised that his giant robot did no damage, so we're gonna crack the earth and knock the robot down. And now he's real scared because we just felled his most impressive giant robot. Now let's go to Miss Midori's apartment, because we just saved her. Miss Midori, are you here? She doesn't say anything and she lets us in. Then we ask if she's mad. And she says, yeah, of course I am. And we apologize, and she says if we can answer this question, she'll forgive us. In front of the Penguin Police Station is a penguin. Of course the Penguin City Police Station is gonna have a penguin. If it didn't, it would be weird. And now she's happy because we got the question right. Now we get to go home. And she tells us to come back anytime because she's forgiven us. She really is forgiving. But again, we are a kid, so I guess that kind of tracks because kid makes a mistake, and they apologize for it. You kind of let them off the hook because they're just being a mischievous little kid. So now we're gonna go talk to the professor and see what else Masahito decides to challenge us with. So we got another challenge at the school. He says that there's a secret weapon that he's about to unleash. So let's go see what this secret weapon is. Good lord, I hope we can handle this secret weapon, though none of his stuff seems to be all that powerful so far. Let's see. Well, he's here with Caramel Man. What's the secret weapon he's got? A minefield. Ooh, this will be interesting. Oh, it's just poops. Okay. Well, let's just poke them. And he gets thrown off that we're poking them. We poke a couple more, and then he's like, you do realize that's poop, right? And we just keep poking him. And asking us to take it seriously because there's a secret weapon. And then he realizes that this isn't gonna work, so time to run away again in the very slow taking off robot. If we really wanted to, we could probably just take care of him right then and there, but Raleigh's not that type of person. She's doing this because it's fun. So now he's come up with some other plan to beat us. And Dr. Norimaki is finding out a way to get Miss Midori to go on a date with him. So he's trying to come up with a present for her. And tells us to go to school, so we stop pestering him, which is understandable. And we should probably be at school if it's time for school. So, time to go to school. Now it's just a normal day, just time to go to school, go to class, figure out what's going on, figure out what they're teaching, and we're late because we have no concept of time or, you know, being present for stuff, because we just don't have a care in the world. We're a Raleigh, we don't have to. Now that class is over, let's go home again. See if the professor's come up with a gift. Oh, but look, there's a doll. There's something on the ground. So let's pick it up. Where is it? I thought it was over here, but it didn't sparkle. It's 100 yen. I need to be careful with these, because... no way. So I'm gonna keep that. It gives me a little bit of pep meter, and it also allows me to just go straight home. If I had said okay to turning that into the police, I would have had to chase the police all around. But instead, the professor's all ready to talk to me right here, right now. Instead of having to go to the police station and then go to the cinema, the bank, the coffee pot, and the barber shop. And he's come up with an invention to deliver the present, the Robobot. It's a lock-picking robot. And his plan was to have the robot break in and drop the present and a letter off while Miss Midori's asleep. Probably a bad idea, but he doesn't seem to think that through. But he also didn't think through what present to give her. So, once he realized he forgot that, he's been holding the letter this whole time, which we thought was the letter he was going to give her, but instead it's another challenge from Dr. Masahito for his final challenge. So we gotta go to a secret lair, and we're gonna borrow the robot. So back to the secret lair! So back to the school, back to the hills, back to the secret lair, and now that we have the robot, we can actually get through the lock. Because that's what the robot was designed for, is getting through locked doors. Again, a little creepy when it was created to try and ask someone on a date, but I just don't think Dr. Norimaki thinks these things through. But Robbot does his job quite well and gets us into the secret lair. And now Dr. Masharito wants us to do another action stage. This one is pretty simple. This first part is just get up to this cave right up top, which is not that hard. Sometimes it's hard to avoid this stuff because it gets real narrow in places, but we managed to get through there pretty well. And now it's a couple mazes. This first maze, as we come around this corner, is a ghost. We gotta just slide past it. And we want to turn right. Slow down. Go around the spikes. Another ghost. Slide past it. Ow. We ran into the wheel, it's fine. Take a right here. Try and dodge our way through these as best we can. Now this next maze is pretty easy because it tells us which way the exit is. So we can just run around following these signs, run past these wheels. That's not the exit. The exit's further this way. And right here. And now this one's the most complicated. But the best way to go, past these ghosts. There's some ghosts over here. Those ones do hurt. Run past these wheels. Run past the electric drones here. Ow. I'm not doing a very good job of that, but it's fine. Hit this wall, get away from it. Run through. Slide past this ghost, past these wheels, hit this wall, get away from the crab and the falling wall, and we finally found the real exit. Now it's a fight against Dr. Masharito. And we've already seen his weakness, which is our Earth Splitter punch. So he wants Chairman to fight us? Ow. Earth Splitter punch. Slide into him, get away. Earth Splitter punch. Slide into him, move away. Just a big loop of this. Once we hit him 3 times, he's going to change up his moves and try and chase us down. Once he stops, we can wind up another Earth Splitter punch, and it's just rinse and repeat. I'm surprised that Earth Splitter punch went through because I didn't think I held it long enough. We got one more punch to land. One more slide to land, because it's just faster to slide into him. And now we've defeated his ultimate robot without him even touching us. Well, I think he hit us once in the beginning, but that's because I stood too close. I did not want to save here. I just want to skip. Now it's time for the Italian alien. These aliens are looking for people to abduct from our planet, and they make the mistake of choosing our ally. I think we gotta talk to the professor. And he's saying that he wants to propose to Miss Midori, but he needs some smokes because he's stressed. So he sends us to the smoke shop. That might not be good. Oh, no. Okay. You know what? Game didn't crash, that's a positive. So now we have a new destination, which is the empty lot. And it is just that, an empty lot. There's another girl here, but I'm just gonna go to the smoke shop and ignore her for now. Talk to the old lady, she's asleep. So we can't get smokes. Oh, now she's awake, now that we try and leave. Of course she is. So let's go back and get some cigarettes from her. And when we go back to the empty lot and talk to her, this is Kinoko. She only talks with the cool and hip people, even though she's just a little girl. And she doesn't understand why cigarettes are cool. And she invites us back to hang out at her place. And we saw her name on the sign, so we already know her name when she introduced herself. But let's go to her house. Because it takes forever, we went straight here. So she's gonna give us a test to figure out if we're cool. Now we just need to get our panties that she lost. She somehow lost like 3 pairs of panties for no reason. So we bring her back these ones. We need the ones from the roof. That was not close enough. There we go. Good old 64-bit 3D platformers. A little bit scuffed. But I've got the best spirit, and then we just need to knock these down with a nerf splitter, and we got the last pair she needs, I believe. Now, we say we're gonna go tell Terose that about her panties. But ooh, tractor beam. And this is where the aliens make their big mistake and pick up our ally. And yep, our allies gonna cause her mischief and destroy their spacecraft. So now the empty lot has a couple residents. So now we're gonna go to the professor, see if we can get them another spaceship. I believe he's down in his lab now. Nope, living room. No? Outside? There's 3 different spots where the professor can be. Okay, now I'm confused. Let's try going back to the empty lot and talking to these aliens again. Now let's see if the professor's around. Lab. Now I'm thoroughly confused. No, I don't want to do any action stages again. Let's go to the coffee pot. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. No, Aurelia decides to not talk to the professor because she wants to show her friends the aliens. Let's see what she has to say. Yep, she says hi to Toriyama now when we come in here. Now that we've looked at that picture before. Okay, now we need to go to the barber shop and get the two boys. Now then we can go to the empty lot. So, empty lot. That was my bad, I was looking at the wrong spot of my notes. So we're talking about how he's calling himself the ultimate space emperor, but he crash landed on our planet. And his little friend is over at Suppaman's. Talk to him, and he wants to get away from Superman, so we're gonna challenge Superman again. He wants us to prove our strength, and if we can do that, we can get him to leave the alien alone. So he's trying to push this porta potty phone booth, I'm not quite sure what it is, and he teaches us how to push. Yeah, it's a phone booth. Which makes sense, because he's supposed to be Superman parody, so he's got a phone booth there, so he can change into his Superman outfit. So talk to the alien again. He can leave now. Back to the empty lot. And now everyone has seen both aliens, so they're all gone. Talk to them. And then we can go they ask us to take them to our house, so that's what we do. And now they want pieces of poop. I want 16 of them. And I have a full list of where they are, so we're gonna head over to the empty lot first. We're gonna head over to Kanoko's. Kanoko has 3. 1, 2, 3. And we can hold up to 4, so we're gonna go to the smoke shop now. Oh wait, no. We wanna go to Suppleman's now. We wanna go to the smoke shop later. Because there's 3 here. There's only 1 at Suppleman's, and it's down here on the docks. So now that we got 4, we can't carry anymore, so we gotta go bring them back to the Emperor of Space. Or whatever the hell it goes. That's the ultimate Emperor of Space, or whatever. They talk about how he talks with an Italian accent, so he's the Italian alien to me. So, we'll go here, pick up the one in front of him, because apparently that one counts towards the total, and he can't just pick it up himself. And now we'll go to the smoke shop to get the other 3 we need to fill out our inventory. And I don't know why there's suddenly poop everywhere, but we'll just deal with it as we deal with it. It makes it really funny that the aliens are so interested in poop. We'll come back, turn these into him, and now we want to go to the school. Actually, what we want to do is, yeah, we want to go to the school. but we're not going to come collect them from here yet. We want to go to the hills. Because there's 2 at the hills. And we have another location that has 2 of them. We're going to pick up the 2 here. Here it is. The pickup range on this is a little bit tight sometimes. And so we'll head back to the school, and from the school we're going to head over to the coffee pot. Coffee pot also has 2. 1 here, 1 on the other side of the building. So we run around the building. And the whole time we're doing this, we're also building pep gauge because they increase our pep gauge. But these are mandatory to collect, so it's a win-win for us. We'll head back home. Talk to the Ultimate Emperor of Space. Go back out. Go to the barber shop. Because there's 1 down here next door. And now we go pick up the 3 that are at the school. Dang it. Karose talks to you afterwards, and that screws up my menuing all the time. We just basically do a loop, and we'll find the 3, because there's 1 over here, and 2 over by the baseball field. Now that we've collected those, we can head home, and these are the last 4 for the aliens. And now that we've collected all of these for the aliens, the professor is done with their spaceship, quote-unquote. And we see that you just built them a car. And Alex says bye as they just drive away because it is just a car, not a spaceship. Talk to them. And he's come up with another plan to get close to Miss Midori. And he didn't realize that they were actual aliens. So that's why he built them just a normal car. And he says they'll be back later. And yep, they will. So from here, we want to go to school. But we want to talk to the little devil, Chivel. He wants me to go bring them to cute girls because he wants to kill them for money. Apparently that's what devils do. Who knew? So we're going to go to the school first and bring him to Akane. Akane is a little hot-headed for him, but he'll find that out soon enough. Akane tells us to stop making friends with weirdos, but we can't help it. We just make friends with everyone. Or we try to. Some people don't want to be friends. Now that we've come home, let's head over to Kanoko's. Maybe he'll find Kanoko wants to die. He's at least very polite and asks them if they want to die first instead of just killing them. So now he's gonna try talking to Kanoko. And from that we learn a ground pound. And he decides he's just gonna give up after, you know, having a little girl fall on his head. Fair. Let's go back to the empty lot and see where he's going. Wow, Superman's here. He doesn't like how quiet it is. So we're gonna go home. And Dr. Noramaki's got a new invention. And it's a Mega Mini Ray. It's a Shrink Ray and a Growth Ray. And of course, us being us, we're gonna shrink him down. So now let's go to school. Because he's looking for a way to impress Miss Midori. So let's see if she's impressed by this Shrink Ray. And of course, Arale has a plan. Arale's gonna shrink her down and kidnap her. Because, of course, that's what you do. Your pseudo-dad wants to propose to someone, shrink him down, and bring him along so that he can do that. So let's head home. And go see the professor in the living room. Maybe you should be honest about your feelings. Oh, look at that, you got a reply already. And she did say yes, which is interesting. Not something you'd think about, but you did say yes, so... Let's go tell everyone that they're getting married now. So we're gonna go and tell the principal. Yeah, we haven't seen you in a little while, principal. He doesn't believe us, so he says he wants to see for his own eyes. And we passed by Terose on our way in here, so let's just tell him about that. And now he's gonna be at our house. And now we want to go to the barber shop. And tell Terose and Pisuke's dad. And he says he always wanted to marry Miss Midori, but I guess he missed his chance. We'll go to Coffee Pot and tell everyone over there. Akane's right here. And now we gotta go tell her big sister who's running the store. And she calls him a dirty old man. Again, he's not actually that old, but everyone thinks he is because he does look like he's in his 40s. Now we're gonna go home. Oh, I know which one I forgot. Hold on. We gotta tell the aliens. And they have gone to residing in the hills since they couldn't leave the planet. And the cops are over here for some reason. And they finally found the secret lair. So this is how we're gonna tell the cops that they're getting married. Now that we've told them, and they can't remember how many patrol cars we've destroyed, because we've destroyed 3 of them at this point. It's a possibility of 4 if we had followed them around to give them money, but we didn't do that. So now we gotta go to the other part of town. That was not the right place. Home. So we want to the other part of town by the empty lot. We don't have the police side of town at the moment. We'll tell Cheevel. Gonna go tell Smoke Shop Lady. Gonna tell Kinoko, and we'll tell Suppleman, and then that's everyone. So Kinoko acting all stuck up as usual. And then Suppleman, he's gonna be his doofus of a self anyway. He thinks we're inviting him because he's famous, just inviting him because Raleigh's inviting everyone she can think of to adopt it. So now we can go inside and tell everyone that everyone's gonna be here. They're not here. Stay outside. Nope. Oh, I think I know who I missed. I think Peace-K's still in the school. I think Peace-K's hiding in the classroom for some reason. Imagine if we actually forgot Peace-K in the story and he just didn't get invited. That would be kind of sad for Peace-K. No? Oh, I already got that. Oh. Peace-K's just off camera here. I realized I missed Peace-K, but I couldn't remember where he was. There we go. Now we talk to everyone here. And everyone's just gonna talk about themselves, because of course they are. Go down to the lab first. Aliens are looking for a spaceship here. And then we'll go to the living room. Talk to Kane's older sister. Talk to the barbershop owner. Talk to the smoke shop lady. And the principal. Who still can't believe it, even though he knows it's the truth now. And now it's only the guests who are in my room, which are all my friends. Of course, Peace-K's nervous being in the girls' room. Kinoko's just gonna insult us. And now that the professor is back and we've greeted all the guests, everything can start. And Midori and Senbei have gotten married. It's a plus for love today. Now we talk to the professor. And he's talking about their honeymoon. Go talk to Miss Midori up on the roof. And talk to the professor again. And he's created us a jetpack. new bride just got kidnapped. And this jetpack takes off faster than the giant robot because Norimaki is just a better inventor than Mishirito. And now we've got this jungle stage to go through. Might as well just be an auto runner on this level for the first part of it. Nope, don't hit the turtle. And those turtles live in hell because they're just consistently running up the slopes to fall back down. Now this section is, in my opinion, the most annoying section of the game. Because if you fall in the river, you don't just restart the room, you restart the whole section leading up to the room. When I first played through this game, I got stuck on this part for like an hour. Oh! Well, new skip found. That's a fun moment. Perfect. Oh, yeah, this is the wrong way. That's right, this is the one where you have to go. And they somehow managed to switch the side of the thing they're on. Well, I'm gonna have to go back and analyze how I managed to skip that. Pretty simple mini-boss, but this part can be annoying if you're not careful, because it's still got the same water effect of reset back before you did anything, and do it again. So here I gotta get rid of the cat people, because they're trying to eat her. So we use the mini Mega Ray to take her back. There's one over here. This doesn't have a hitbox we can jump over, unfortunately, so we're just gonna wait for it to run out. And then she said take the left path. And then just keep going straight, so that's what we do. Well. We died, but that's fine because we got a checkpoint after we defeated the cat guys. So we only got sent back 2 rooms. That gets a lot more annoying later if we fall in the rivers, because there's 2 river sections in this section of areas we gotta get through, but if we fall in either of them, we end up right back in that room. here's the first river section. I'm gonna take these slow because I do not feel like redoing all this 8 times. And I assure you guys don't want to see it. I mean, it'd be great content to watch me get god damn it, frustrated. But I'd rather not keep doing that over and over and over again, like what happened the very first time I played this. It gets repetitive playing it, I'm sure it'll get repetitive watching it. Thank you, shrimp. I just need to take it slow and I got this. I know it is possible to do the quick platforming through here, but you gotta be like angle perfect, and I don't feel like doing that. I don't think I could do that at the moment. I'd have to put a lot of practice into it. Yeah, these guys keep trying to ambush us, but it just doesn't work out for them because we can either outrun them or just knock them out. And these birds are annoying. They're melons that they drop, but oh, fish almost knocked me into the water. I believe this is the last section I have to do. And we're on to the boss. At least last jungle section. We got a mountain section coming up, but that's not so bad. Yeah, the water instant game overing you is probably the worst programming decision they made. Nope, don't want it. Like any good 64-bit platformer, if there's a steep slope, you can just sort of hop up it. Unfortunately, this part's not a steep slope, this part is just a sheer wall. And there we go, now we're on to the boss fight. And now the monkey's mad at me for stealing Miss Midori back because he's gonna eat her. So we hit him with the pepper, and then we just king-ba-bomb him off the side of the hill. And then we just run over to the next thing of pepper. Wait for him to get back over here again. Damn it. And push him right back off the edge. Come on. Get a little closer. That's fine. I'm just gonna push you again. And that's the end of him. And now we can go home. Notice I haven't gotten any of the golden poop because they're In most levels, they're just extras you can get. But now we meet Obacha Man. And Obacha Man is Dr. Mishirito's second attempt to beat Arale. Obacha Man is just basically a copy of Arale. But all of a sudden, there's a loud sound from the empty lot. A ship has landed. They've apparently come from China. At least that's what's implied from the way they dress and their names. But the ship is called Retsugo. Yep. Yeah, they're from China. They're in northern Japan, I believe, is where this is supposed to take place, hence the name Penguin Village. Okay, what do you want? Oh yeah, he teaches me long jump. So now if I crouch and jump, I become Mario and have a long jump. The moveset's very similar to Mario's. I can't do that, I'm not Chaozu. But he also, if he gets touched by a woman, he transforms into a tiger. I forget the anime where the kid has a power like that if he's touched by women. That's the great thing about Dr. Slump is it is parody and it does it very well. Okay, time to go to school. But now we've got all locations unlocked. Almost all locations. We do get a sub-location later, but for now, we have all the locations unlocked. But it's time to go to class. Of course, since our teacher got married to our father figure, she's no longer the teacher. And this is our new teacher, Mr. Kurigashira. Sukutsun, and the other one, I don't remember her name, to be honest. Gotta talk to everyone. He wouldn't let us leave, but now that our class is outside, we can leave. He couldn't say that our class is outside until we talk to everyone, I guess. Now we get to do an obstacle course race. And Akane is a little bit faster now. But this is very similar to the other race, so there's just now hurdles. You're supposed to be able to double clear those, but you can run into a couple and still beat Akane. And you still gotta wait for Akane to finish to end the race anyway, so as long as you finish in front of her, you've done the optimal race. And now I get to leave. Oh, nah. We gotta tell him no, apparently. Even though it's optional for us to race, we gotta tell him we don't want to race in order for him to decide that the class day is over. But yeah, this is Obacha Man. He kinda looks like an Astro Boy. now we gotta go meet Abacha-man. Yeah, he's right here. And he shows off that he can do basically everything we can. So we're gonna go over to Retsugo. Because the first time he's gonna challenge us will be at the smoke shop. Now this is the only chapter where we really get any of the golden hoops because he gives them to us. And this is just a big button mashing game. He pushes back harder sometimes, but eventually he can't push as much and we win. Raleigh's very happy that she wins. And if you haven't noticed, the good old evil doctor told Abacha-man that we were the evil one, so, you know, that's fun. He's nervous to talk to Akane because he doesn't want to turn into a tiger. Let's go to the school now. It's gonna be here. And so we're gonna now have a quiz with some actual movement involved. And then we win. It's honestly kind of a fun way to do a quiz. Not, you know, short, because it's only 3 questions total, best 2 out of 3. Now we go to the hills. And he even thinks Supperman is a bad guy, just like Raleigh did. For the single Abacha-man throw, we learned how to throw. Yep. And he's too scared and runs away. And romantic atmosphere because he's programmed to be a boy. And there's Raleigh, it's just clueless. And now we just gotta destroy the statue of Dr. Masharito before we destroy the statue of Dr. Norimaki. That one. Ow. Yeah, if you really start to get too close of a fight with him, you can punch him to get rid of the boulder he has, but he won't do the same to you. Sometimes these throw angles are a bit precise. Oh, welcome to the game glitch. I see the party Goku. Okay, now that we've beat him in the hills, now we gotta go over to the police station side of town where the last 2 challenges he has for us are. Because he's gonna be at the bank and at the cinema. Hi, Peace-K. Now he challenges to a jumping contest. Every time I try and do that double ground pound, I always miss up. And this is just like that one Mario Party Bowser balloon minigame where you just gotta... I've played it before he does. Actually, I say the one. I think there's a couple that are blow up the balloon before the opponent does. It's been a while since I've played Mario Party games, to be honest. Okay, now his last challenge is gonna be over at the bank. I forget which one this is. Oh, the race. This is honestly probably one of the best races in the game. Now we just got, there he is. He was a little bit behind there. Oh, music does go real hard in this game, though. Like I said, I think this is probably one of the best 64-bit platformers. It's got banger music, it's got good controls, it's got fun gameplay, and it's got a really funny story. Unfortunately, it's only Japanese. I'm playing an English patch version because it doesn't affect anything other than text. It's just way more fun. I can actually tell what's going on in here. I mean, I have the graphics upscaled a little bit, but even without it, it still looks good. They've got a little bit of issue with some polygon clipping, but... And now he's gonna show up at the house. And she still doesn't understand, like, he thinks we're bad, and he's finally realizing that we're not bad. And now we gotta go find the burglar around town. And if I remember correctly, he's at the bank. Is he? No, cinema. I think here you can honestly appear in multiple locations, so... Luckily he's really easy to spot when you actually find him. Barbershop. That's where he is. Nope. pot? Nope. Kills then, probably. Nope. Must be at the school, because it's the only one I didn't check. Of course it is. Nope. Where is he? Yeah, well, she learned how to jump from a frog, so only natural that she makes the frog sound when she jumps. Oh yeah, that's right. He's at fucking. He's at damn Superman. There he is. Superman. Yeah, now I got the shinobi crawl. Hello, Superman. Yes. And then he's gonna beat up Dr. Midish. I can't remember this guy's name ever. Mitsuhiro? Something like that. Mitsuhiro, there we go. Mitsuhiro, something. But yeah, he was trying to get Obacha Man back. Obacha Man goes out and beats him up because he thinks he's a burglar. I'm not gonna save. Now this chapter is interesting. This is the door-to-door salesman, Matsuhiro. There we go, Matsuhiro. But this is the door-to-door salesman level, or chapter. You know, we gave the aliens not what they were wanting. We gave them a car instead of a spaceship. So now we're fixing that. And Obacha Man is stealing Superman's house. What are you so excited about? Oh yeah. Because I have a full pep gauge. Talking to him is gonna give me more settings I can change. But now there's gonna be a baby. But I want to go to the cinema. The aliens are over here. They're selling scrub brushes. So we gotta sell a dozen brushes for him. And he's gonna tell us that we can now go to his place, but first we're gonna go in here. Talk to the police chief. Burglar has already escaped, even though we caught him not that long ago. We gotta go hunt him down. Now I believe he's... in the hills now? I think he's at the smoke shop. Not mistaken. Oh yeah, Abacha Man doesn't get affected by the whole rest of this. Now I've only got 11 of these to sell. Yeah, I think he's at this smoke shop. Unfortunately, because we accepted this, we're gonna have to travel around to other places and not get any benefit from going to these other places. No, he's not here. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Gotta love when they send you on hide and seek across a map you can't clearly navigate. Oh, I know where he is. He ends up here. Secret lair. Thought he did. I guess I'm wrong again. Man, this guy's hard to find. I know he's not inside because they don't let you inside during any of these segments. I'll just double check over here. Where haven't I checked? He's not behind Retsugo. Not Kinoko's. Is he back at Supplementals again? Okay, I've been to every map. Where is he? On top of our roof. Oh. Well, he appeared on this map this time. Fun. I know for that one he can appear on any map. It's just kind of annoying that I missed him on the very first map. Oh, now we get to see the babies here. Which makes me wonder how long we've been trying to sell these scrub brushes for, because they were just announcing their pregnancy when we left. here. Talk to her. And we gotta find her husband's dirty book. And then she'll buy a scrub brush from us. I believe that's... There it is. And let's leave them to figure out whatever they're gonna figure out. Oh nope, that's the wrong location. I picked the one wrong location of the four I could have chosen. Okay, so she wants me to go fight the boars on the hill. That means I can leave here. And I'll go to a different part. I'm gonna go to school. Gotta beat her in another race, and she'll buy a scrub brush. Some of these people have weird requirements for buying a scrub brush. I don't know if those jumps are actually possible because I've never made them, but at the same time, again, you gotta wait for Akane to finish the race anyway, so as long as you beat her, you ran the optimal race. Now let's go to the teacher, who's gonna have us do a pop quiz to buy a brush. Nope. Schoolyard. So that's the two at the school. Let's head over to the hills real quick to get rid of these boars. Come on, interact with Bush, please. Now these aren't as difficult now that we can slide kick. This one? This one? Wait for him to stop. Bam. There's the last one. Back to school. Barbershop. Pressure Peace game. He wants an autograph. He wants a date. I don't know how tall this barbershop is inside, but she can jump the full height inside. Which is really funny, because you can use it to get on the roof of the barbershop, I think. Some way, somehow. So, now that I've got those, I need to come back here. Retsugo. Talk to the daughter. Go talk to Kinoko to get my scrub brush back from her. Go Suppleman. Go back to Retsugo. Go home. Again, baby's making life improvements while we're also on these scrub brushes, so it must be taking forever. That's the wrong place. Oh. Fine. To get the autograph. We also learn how to roll. Punch button while crouching is real awkward because punch button is square and crouch is circle. Oh, yeah, no, I need to get off, so that should be all that. Go to the school and on the way back get the last brushes. This quest sends you all over. do. You really can't control what Arala does. The barbershop. Kisuke. Kurose. No, I don't think she has a weird request. Oh yeah, she just wants me to clean. That's fine. Not a single person cleaned off their own table. It's not like this is a wait-staffed establishment either. There's one person working. There's a coffee shop. Oh, that's not what I wanted. It's technical difficulties. I knocked over my keyboard. Unpause. Thank you. Cinema. Technical difficulties have been all taken care of. So I bring him home, or can get the Mega Mini Ray, shrink him down so I can carry him. And now I get to go home. Apparently they took a book page from Avatar Last Airbender's book and combined two animals to create the Peng seal. God damn it. Wrong button. That one was my bad. It's a nice skip I can do there, it's just I gotta pay attention to what I'm doing. There we go. There we go. And more Mario 64s, except The only way you can control yourself on these slides is in midair. That gust of wind is supposed to pick you up. Luckily it's a checkpoint at the top of this room, but that was the very end of that room too, so... There we go. About the special golden poops. At least any issues here feel completely skill-based instead of the falling in the water on that other one. Okay. Now we've returned the Pang Seal to his parents, who is apparently the king and queen of the Pang Seals. So we just brought the prince back. We're very happy to have their son back. And of course, no golden poops, because they're optional on every stage except the Obacha Man chapter. Yep, now we gotta go find our baby brother who's wandered off. Or the way people want you to believe, the nephew. Now we gotta deal with Flyman and his poop collecting. Buzzo Man, whatever. And that's basically just what we gotta follow is him. He's the only indicator that we have that we're moving forward in the story, because otherwise you can be running everywhere. Which is exactly why I had to create a whole list of directions on where to go, because otherwise it's just a mess. So let's go. One more Buzzo Man. Back to Retsugo, and now we head off to the hills to find him again. Home. I'm pretty sure most of this game is just loading screens. Now, if I was interested in upgrading my pep gauge, I could collect all this poop. I don't need to, though. Give me a yam. Now I can go home. And his turbo has returned. And then we all split the yam. And I learned my last ability. At least for now. This game just gets more ridiculous the longer you play it. Now the spaceship crashes and now there's this weird mind flayer looking guy. So we saw that he crashed in the hills, so we're gonna go visit him in the hills. Really interesting, we managed to have two separate aliens crash on a planet, and they weren't the Saiyans. Yeah, not yet. That was the wrong place to go. I'm autopiloting the menus in the wrong way. Okay, he's in the lab. Now the professor gets to look at an actual spaceship. Now a Botcha Man calling for help. God. I'm pretty sure Riley does beat Goku a couple times, but yeah. When your overpowered character comes up against your overpowered character wins. So we gotta go to a Botcha Man's house, see what's going on. Roller B to A. I thought she beat at least Kid Goku at one point. Down to the lab. Let's go get Botcha Man his power source, cause he almost dead. That's not good. Who knows, if we leave him alone too long, he might reset in his programming and go back to trying to fight us, cause he thinks we're evil again. Gravity engine. And of course she gets hooked onto it. And we learn how to hang. Now this is one of the few times we actually see one of Senbei's inventions fail. It looks like it does well. And then comes crashing back. Okay, so now we need some guinea pigs to test. And we know some people who need an anti-gravity engine for a spaceship. They're at school last we checked, but they moved on a little bit. They're now up in the hills. Hey guys, remember space and whatnot. Okay, take off. And Arale hopped on to the weird little feet heaven spaceship. Go away. Smash you. It's fine. Come on. Get up there, Riley. Yeah. Fine. That's not what I need. It's a golden one, I don't care about that. Now this next one where I gotta collect these radishes. Bucket. Necessary. Great. Push. Oh god. Well, time to get all those again. Pick it up. Thank you. Rally. Thank you. Oh, I hate this. Luckily, I've done this part enough to know. come on. Sorry guys, I'm locking in. Why was that cycle different? Run. Jump. One, two, three. Okay. The worst part is, I've very rarely fallen off of these sneaking platforms before. I always fell off of the platforms before. Okay. Come on, pick up the radish, thank you. There we go. Finally. Got that one. Now this is the big bad boss. And unfortunately he teaches us Kamehameha. Come on. There we go. Gotta know how to mash, and I apparently didn't. Okay, now we're on to the last chapter. Hey there, Kamari. course, every good anime game has to have a tournament saga, which is this one. Retsugo Indigo. Supplements. Let's see what this trivia question is. Dang it. Unfortunately randomized trivia questions, and I haven't seen all of them yet, or know all the answers to all of them. Pair of scissors, I know where to go for that. Out of all the ones I've done, that was the most obvious scavenger hunt. Gotta make the old lady laugh. Toilet humor. God dang it. Come on, really? And of course, abuse time travel. There we go. Actually picked it up that time, not just punched past it. Okay. So that's all the actual difficult parts of this tournament done. So we had the trivia, the first one, which was randomized questions. I think there's some rhyme or reason for they're laid out on the ground, but I haven't gotten the same questions twice on that. Then there's that second round was, I forget which second round was. Wow. Just how much I'm in the zone, I can't remember what that second round is. And then there's the scavenger hunt. I know where to go for the scavenger hunt. That's always the secret lair. There's the one there is always real. I don't know of any other real ones. There might be others. And then you can always use the fart jump to make the old lady laugh. Oh wait, no, scavenger hunt was for the other people. That was the second round. Second round was scavenger hunt. And scissors make sense for the barber. I don't remember what the other ones I've got were, but not all of them make sense to my American brain, so. Then it was the comedy, so make the old lady laugh at the fart jump. And then it was platforming. And then final was a test of, yes, shrimp power against Obacha Man. And then now we've got Dr. Matsuhiro messing with the picture book for the final mission where you have to go inside the picture book, so. Have to go back to the police station now. Because Obacha Man couldn't just bring the picture book to me himself. So now we're going to move on to the final action stage of this game. Hopefully all goes well with that. Nope, don't talk to him. Go to the school. are the first enemies in the game that aren't bosses that take more than one hit. Come on. Dr. Matsuhiro really put a lot of evil things in this book. Oh, whoops. Luckily, they were reasonable with this final area. And every room is a checkpoint. And here's the final boss. Yeah, in this boss fight, we can't damage him directly. I must say, really well made hitbox, but this is almost a situation where you wish they didn't make the hitbox good. And that is time. at least all the playable. And here are the credits. I would like to give a huge thanks to everyone who's come here and watched this. I know my run take a little bit more than average because I got lost a couple times, but this game was really fun. It really showed off a lot of Toriyama's humor and his really good design work on a lot of characters. And honestly, this game, I didn't even know about this game until started looking into doing this marathon. I found out they made a Dr. Slump 3D platformer for PS1, and I thought, well, if it's a good 3D platformer, I'm all for it, because I honestly absolutely love these types of games. It's a 64-bit 3D platformer, so it's PS1. As you can see, I was playing it on an English patch, so even if you don't speak Japanese, if you have an emulator, you can play it and still enjoy all the story, all of the gameplay, and not have to have any struggles with it. Huge thanks to DBK and Shrimpson for making sure that this event was gonna go smoothly, and obviously huge thanks to Akira Toriyama for having brought so many great series into this world and shaping the way a whole lot of people's lives went. I know if it wasn't for him having made Dragon Ball, I probably wouldn't turn out the way I did, because, let's be honest, I was a young kid in the early 2000s when they were airing Dragon Ball again on TV, and it was one of the best shows on TV. Without it, I wouldn't be the person I am today, because it honestly made a huge difference. Again, thank you everyone for coming to watch, and I really hope you enjoy the next run, which is Infamous playing his game. I think he's doing Kakarot, which will be real hype to see. Well, see you guys later.